Guys, I thought that Donovan Mitchell made a concerted effort to get everybody involved early. And he's like, I can't do this all myself.
At his detriment.
Right, at his scoring detriment,
At his box score detriment.
Yeah, I mean, and then in the second half, he went crazy and hit all those baskets.
But by then, everybody was kind of churning.
Everybody was in the rhythm, and everybody was feeling confident. I mean,
it was LeBron-esque in that sense. LeBron
it was.
A lot.
He just got everybody.
That.
You know, Garland.
It might have been the night he grew up.
Okoro made some big shots. Strus made a couple of big threes.
6 players in double figures.
Karis LeVert played a great game.
Incredible.
And I'll give JB credit because in the first half, when obviously the Celtics got off to that good start, 9-0 or 7-0, whatever it was, and then the Cavs came right back. But then when Mobley went out in the first half, the Cavs fell apart there for a little while because they went small. And in the second half, when he took Mobley out, he put in Tristan Thompson instead of going small. And you look at the box score, you don't see much from Tristan. But I thought he played great in those minutes he played in the second half.
He saved them.
He really did.
He got in the hot tub time machine and went back to 2016. I even saw out of bounds play, or not out of bounds play. You look at it in a game, and there was a play where JB called something out of a timeout, and Tristan hits Max Strus for a backdoor cut.
First play of the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Yeah, backdoor cut. He's able to finish. And I think, really quick on Donovan, I think when you say LeBron-esque, like, what do you mean by that? Not necessarily in terms of the way LeBron dominated, but how he did it was he controlled pace. He controlled the flow, right? In the beginning, in the first half, he understood, okay, I got to get guys involved. I want to see him get some good looks at the basket. I thought Isaac Okoro hit 2 big jumpers in the first quarter that kind of calmed things down. Evan Mobley played well. But then Donovan did something that I think the top guys in the top 5 and the superstars do. I call it third quarter closing. Not fourth quarter. He closed in the third quarter. And what I mean by that was there was times in that game where you saw the Celtics can go an 8-9 point run, tie it up. Donovan did something that I thought was key. Every single time that they came down and the Celtics would score, he would hit another shot and be aggressive to keep that gap. I thought it was important that they kept.
It was like 15. They kept cutting it to 15 or 14, and you're like, okay, here come the Celtics.
But Donovan
never
was
allowed
like, no.
that to happen.
Yeah.
And he didn't put the pressure on his teammates to hit those shots, right? So he took and said, okay, I'm going to concede some of this early, but I'm going to keep us afloat and make sure that we keep that buffer. And I think it really deflated the crowd, especially when you fighting back and you taking so much time to get back in the game, and guys keep coming back answering. I think it takes the crowd out of it, and I think it deflated the Celtics too. So I think
him leaving at 4:45 to go in the game.
Well, I mean, if the game was over, but there were.
But you're leaving.
Yeah, it was game 1. Sometimes you'll see it obviously when the home road changes, but that difference when it was both home games for Boston between game 1 and 2 is as big as I've ever seen.
Well, if you add it up, it's almost
49 point swing.
Yeah,
and just everything the Celtics did well in the first game, they did poorly in the second game. Everything the Cavs did poorly in the first game, they did well. It was like everybody played the opposite game.
It's in the back of their mind, guys. You got to remember, they lost to an 8 seed last year in Game 7. The fan base is sitting there thinking. Now, you got to think it from Boston's standpoint. They got a great roster. They've remixed it a bunch of times. But we all forget, Tatum and Brown ain't won nothing.
No.
I mean, they've gone to the finals.
But they haven't won.
But they ain't won.
They won a championship.
And so they thinking about it like, we just lost to an 8 seed in the Miami Heat. We had no business losing in Game 7. Now you see them lose a game to the Cavs.
I wonder if this was the wake-up call, because when it appeared like they were going to have Groundhog Day and relive that,
They went
and swept the Heat right out of the playoffs. So I hope that this wasn't a wake-up call. 2 things really quickly. I think in the Orlando series, there were times that Donovan Mitchell, the famous quote is, Reggie Jackson famously said about the New York Yankees in the 70s, I'm the straw that stirs the drink, meaning he's the guy. And that's a funny statement. It was true. In basketball, what we see sometimes with young superstars is they try to be the whole drink.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Early in his career, Michael Jordan, he was scoring 50 a night in the playoffs and they couldn't win. LeBron James went through the same growing pains where he felt like he had to do everything. Donovan Mitchell in games against the Magic where you're looking around in the fourth quarter and saying, is anybody else going to score? The transformation from young superstar to wise old man on the floor is when he realizes, hey, I don't have to be the drink. In fact, it can't work with me being the drink. I have to be the straw that stirs the drink. And that's what he was. He was distributing to everybody, getting everybody involved. Even while he wasn't shooting the ball and scoring much, he was affecting the game because he got all of his teammates into the game. And I don't think the Celtics were ready for that. I think the Celtics' game plan was, if we lose, it's going to be because Donovan Mitchell goes nuts.
Yep.
So in their effort to stop Donovan Mitchell, I think they forgot about the other four guys who all woke up out of their comas.
Which, real quick, Mike, which I understand because, as you said, they'd been in comas. They hadn't done anything. If you're the Celtics, there was no reason to think those guys would.
But now the Celtics have to go back to the lab because, well, who's going to beat you this time?
Right, and it's on the road, so it's a big
And
deal.
it's on the road.
But I think if the Cavs, yesterday I said they had no chance to win the series. I still think that they're a long shot. But if they're going to pull off this upset in the series, I still think they got to win Game 3.
You can't lose the momentum.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'll toss it right back to you guys after a quick word from eBay Motors. Donovan Mitchell was the Cavs motor, and for your motor, there's no better place to get the parts you need than eBay. Passion, drive, and patience, that's the winning formula for championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home some huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Donovan played great in the third quarter. He had 18, but also Darius Garland showed up in the third quarter. He had 3 threes himself. And for just a quick glimmer, and it hasn't happened nearly enough during their tenure together, the Cavs got exactly what they had hoped for when they paired Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland together in the backcourt. I know it was just a small glimpse, but when they're playing at that level, both, it creates chaos and nightmares for an opposing defense, and the Celtics were in hell trying to guard them last night.
I think the turning point, if this turns into something, the turning point in their relationship and in the progression of the two of them as teammates, you can put a circle around the sequence in Orlando when Darius Garland missed a 3. It was rebounded, I think, by Okoro.
It was Okoro.
Kicked it out to Mitchell, who immediately put the ball right back in to Darius Garland's hands in the same exact footprint that he missed the 3 from 3.5 seconds earlier, and he nailed it. And it was kind of the dagger, and in that moment, you saw, after the timeout, the hug between Darius and Donovan, and that was a real hug. You know how sometimes when you just meet someone for the first time, you dab them up, and you're just sort of like, it's just sort of, watch this. This is what real looks like.
Yeah, no doubt.
He went to the head. He was... that's what a real hug looks like, and that you might put a circle around that moment and say that was the instant that the Cavs in this carnation came of age.
I hope so. I hope you're right. But I'll say this, and Darius did a nice job, Mike, you're right with those threes. If the Cavs are going to get to where we really want them to get, which is beating the Celtics.
Yes.
Because let's face it, if they somehow win this series, they can beat anybody.
Sure.
Which sounds crazy, but if they can win this series, they can beat anybody. They can't. That's still not good enough. Like, Darius has to be better.
I thought I was going to say,
he had his moments in that third quarter, but it's not like 14 and 4. Forget the rebounds. I mean, that's a good rebounding number, and the Cavs did a great job on the glass yesterday.
He got a lot of missed threes from off Boston.
But he's got, my expectation for Darius Garland is he's a 20-10 guy.
Has to be.
And it for the Cavs to really get where they want to be, not just have one miracle win in a series, he's got to play like an all-star consistently.
I think, and one thing I don't want to get people, riled up and be like, why y'all not excited about the win? We are excited about the win. I'm looking at it from a perspective of Darius Garland scored 14 points. Now, the threes were timely. I'll take the timely threes.
They're almost double.
When he hit those threes, they needed those shots at those times, and I'm gonna give him credit for that. I also give credit because the Cavs out-rebounded the Celtics, and it was a big part was the guards.
Huge.
And we talked about Darius Garland not blocking out against the Magic. He rebounded the ball well. Donovan Mitchell rebounded the ball well. But I completely agree with Bull. My thing is, I want the trophy. I don't care about citizenship awards. Like when I went to school, my mom was like, yeah, you got to go to school. So nobody care about your attendance awards and citizenship. You're supposed to be a good person in school, and you're supposed to go to school. That's bare minimum. Where is these honor rolls and merit rolls? Where's that at? we don't give participation awards. Darius Garland gotta be 21, 22. When Donovan ain't got it going, Darius gotta be going. Evan Mobley, I need to at least see 18 and 10. Them is the numbers that we compare. Now we got over the first stages, right? This is like a video game. You at the boss level. You seeing Joker. You got the big dogs like
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. These is big dogs.
They're not Glass Joe anymore.
No.
Right. Like Darius has got
Luka.
If they're going to win this series, there's got to be 2 games where Darius scores 30 plus.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? I mean, like
gotta have him.
And he's capable. If he wasn't capable, we wouldn't expect it.
And I'm interested. This is I was on the radio this morning with Lyman. I said, listen, to me, all of this is for Dot. I'm going to be watching what's up with Game 3. Game 3 is the pivotal game because you know why? I want to see if y'all mature enough to come out here with that mentality, the energy, the effort, and looking to jump on the Celtics. Not get down and fight back. I'll know what JB talking about, what Darius is talking about, and specifically Evan Mobley talking about in Game 3 where they seem to say, hey, let's put the pressure on them. Let's smell some blood in the water and get them up out of here. So then when it's Game 4, now you fighting for your playoff life now.
Right. Here's the difference, too. Like, right now, does anybody feel the Cavs are going to win this series?
I'll tell you that before Game 2, I thought there was a 2% chance they were going to win.
Right now?
If you play the odds of home teams winning, they actually have the odds in their favor.
Yes.
I don't think in Vegas they're not.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that the home team tends to win more often than not.
Do you think they're
I do not think they're going to win the series. However, I have substantially bumped up their odds of winning.
Agreed.
I would say 35 to 40%.
Right, fine.
I'm good
Whatever
with that.
it is. But I don't think anybody Mike, you don't think the Cavs are going to win the series today, do you?
No, I picked Celtics in 6 to start. I'm sticking with Celtics in 6.
Yeah, that's a good number.
If the Cavs win Game 3, it's a new ball game.
Yes, it is.
It's a new ball game, and then it becomes like they might win this series.
But, Bull, what's really tricky, and this is why it's so hard to win in the NBA.
Yeah.
You can't just win Game 3.
Of course not.
You have to win Game 4. That's when I get excited.
Right, but Game 3.
Because Bull, if they split at home, then they go back to Boston, and the Celtics have the home court again with 3 games to play.
But I'm not here Monday, but you are. But if the Cavs win Game 3 Saturday night, you're going to be excited Monday, and you're going to feel like they have a real chance to win the series.
I'll go from
now it still feels like a long shot
to 55 to 60.
Well, that's a big difference.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You say Game 3 is pivotal. We used to have this argument all the time, both high school, college, all of the jobs I've ever worked at. Which game in a series is the most important? And there's 2 right answers. Game 7 is always the most important. But absence of that, because you don't know if you're going to get to a Game 7, the answer to the unsolvable riddle, which game in a series is most important? The next one.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's always going to be that way.
That's right.
Yeah, Game 3, critical.
Yes.
But if you win Game 4, and now you give Boston, they've got 3 to win 3.
Yeah, right.
Now, we saw what happened in 2016.
But that's the only time it's ever happened.
Both ways. We saw it with the Cavs, and we saw it with the Indians on the bad side.
Yeah.
So,
has anybody blown a 3-1 lead in the NBA since the Cavs?
I doubt it.
Warriors?
No. I doubt it.
I can't remember.
I'll look into it. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it happened during COVID. That was such a weird year.
Yeah.
It did happen during COVID. It did happen in the bubble. It was the Clippers.
But the thing there was there were no home games.
Yeah, it was
all.
So,
that was I just take the COVID year and it happened, but no one was there to hear the tree fall in the forest.
I'm gonna do a read in a sec, and then we'll talk about whether the Cavs can replicate the performance last night. But back to the DG Mitchell combo, real quick.
Okay.
For that short spurt in the third quarter, you guys are 100% right, by the way. Darius needs to play better in the big picture. That third quarter was a small microcosm of the game, though.
That is a completely made-up word right there.
No, microcosm's a real
microcosm.
word. Cosm. Oh,
that's okay. I mean,
English not my strong suit.
I know what
count
you were
by
doing.
threes.
Like you said,
the game was tied, by the way, 54 apiece at halftime, with Mitchell and Garland combining for 11 points total, which means LeVert, who had an awesome first half, we haven't talked about him yet.
Yep.
He was awesome in the first half, and Mobley was carrying the offensive load. Are you guys confident? Give me a 1 to 100 or 1 to 10, whatever you want, that we'll see that duo played at the level they did? I'm talking DG and Mitchell, because we hadn't seen it yet this postseason. We saw it very little throughout the regular season. Are we going to see them play at that level like we saw in the third quarter again in this Celtics series?
Gosh, that's
Wish I had more confidence. I should have more confidence, but, no, I shouldn't, because, I mean, it's not, and it has nothing to do with Donovan Mitchell. It's all about Darius Garland.
Right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like I'm at a 3 that we'll see it again.
Yeah, listen, until he proves it, no, I can't say that I'm going to see that.
We all want to believe, right?
Yeah.
We all want to be 8, 9, 10.
But you know what, Bull? It's like the boy who cried wolf. When you're a fan, you do have rose-colored glasses.
Sure.
You are drinking the Kool-Aid. And what happens is, over 58 years of doing this, I see a glimmer and I buy in.
Sure.
And then I talk it up. And then I get let down. And that wash, rinse, repeat. Get sucked in, get let down, do it all over again.
Right.
And I feel like because of that, I'm afraid to fall in love. I don't want my heart to get broken again.
Right.
So I know what I saw. Was it a mirage? Is it repeatable? The Cleveland fan in me said, no, I don't want to buy in and be let down.
Right.
So,
but you will. That's what I'm saying. If it happens again in Game 3,
I'm more likely to say,
we're all going to buy in.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Mike, I want you to answer this question. Is it repeatable? Because of all the teams left in the playoffs, and this is saying something because there are teams left with young head coaches. I have less confidence in Boston's head coach to dig them out of a hole than any coach in the playoffs right now, including our own. And that's saying something. Because that road playoff win last night, that's the first that JB's ever managed in his career.
I ain't going that far.
I'm telling you, I saw a deer in headlights.
The look on his face was
he was a deer in headlights, Bull. And what happened was, I always equate this to pushing a boulder back up there. When you're on the road and it's 9 points, and you made this point earlier, and I co-sign it. A good home team can make that go away in a minute.
Yeah.
But what the Cavs were able to do was the boulder was on the ledge and it was teetering. And once it comes off the edge in a good road environment, you can't push it back up the mountain. What they did was they kept it from falling over the ledge.
Yeah.
And I think they were able to do that because of that man right there.
I mean, he looks so...
He was over his skis.
I look at him like, he looks like he's going to cry.
He didn't know where he was.
It was weird.
Well, I look at it this way. I don't really think it's him. Like, I call Jason Tatum. Let's be real. Jason Tatum he heard the whispers game 1. Jaylen Brown had a good game. Tatum didn't. He came in this game and he was pulling quick, right?
Yeah, he was.
He was pulling. And to me, I still question it. They got all the talent in the world. I just don't know if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum work. They do. They have the best your turn, my turn in the world. Because they make you think like they really working together. But it's really just high level your turn, my turn, right? Yeah. And when you look at it, both of those guys got all the tools. They got all the talent. They got the roster. In post-game comments, they said, well, people don't think we're supposed to lose because they think we got a super team. But, I don't think we got a super team. I think more than anybody thinks, Damon Porzingis, that's another 20-point guy. He's a rim protector, shoots well beyond the arc, long, athletic. When you put him at the 5 or put him at the 4, it's different. They just got a different roster. Like, they got 5 guys that can get you for 20. And I think one of the things that we got to look at and watch for is Boston didn't shoot well, right?
White was awful. Yeah.
And you know what, Mike, finish your point, and then, Mike, I have a question for you on the shooting part of it.
They didn't shoot well, and they had some open looks. They can get hot, and like game 1, we had shot hands up and everything, and it's like, no, we're not going to miss. And if Derek White goes Steph Curry on you, there's nothing you can do. You just shake their hand. So my thing is, yes, we did what we needed to do. But there is some open looks that they had. I thought they did a better job running them off the three-point line. And at least they understand this is not the Orlando Magic. You asked Orlando to shoot, and they missed a lot of shots. This ain't that type of ball game. They readjusted. I think Harris LeVert talked about it too. It was the difference in the game plan from Orlando to Boston was stark, and it took them a game to kind of get readjusted. But, yeah.
Mike, the tweet that you sent out yesterday measuring the NBA, all of the 8 teams that are left, is that prepared to pull up?
If you give me 1 second.
I was fascinated by that because what it did was it graphed all 8 remaining teams, where they shot three-point range during the regular season compared to where they're shooting it now in the postseason. And 6 of the teams went down. You expect that. In the playoffs, everything is harder. 2 teams went up. I think the Celtics were one of the 2 that went up. They shoot it great.
Essentially dead even.
Yeah, but they went up a tick, 1/10%, I think.
They're down 1/10%.
Oh, down 1/10. So there were 2 teams that went up. Oklahoma City and who else?
The Knicks.
And the Knicks, that's right. So to me it was fascinating because it's kind of measuring the clutch gene, isn't it? Like, that's a clutch shot, and you're supposed to make it at a less clip in the postseason, and they mean more in the postseason. So it's a good measurement of the clutch gene. What I want to know from you, Mike, is was their struggles from three-point range, in your view, more to do with the Cavs and the defense they played? And I guess there's a stat that could measure that. How did they do in wide open looks?
I have that for you.
I'm glad. I knew you would. That's why I asked you. But I first want your opinion before you give us facts. Was that more Cavs defense, or was it just the Celtics had an off night?